It's been a hard week. I lost my family pet yesterday, and I figured we could process some grief together by drawing some happy dogs. I'm not really ready to draw her yet, but I'm ready to draw some happy dogs. I don't at all intend for this to be a sad video. Yeah, she was a great dog. She was a Brittany Spaniel, and we got her when she was 4 months old. We got her from a family who, their kids were allergic to her. So they didn't want to give her up, but they had to do what was best for their kids. But that kind of ended up to be a good thing for us because we got to enjoy 11 years with her. She developed lymphoma and she just slowly got in more and more pain, and I'm really, really sad about it. I'm surprised that I haven't started crying yet. I've been crying constantly. So this is a dachshund. It's funny, this is the first time that I've picked up my pencil since she's not with us anymore, and I was expecting to not really be able to cope very well, but this is honestly really therapeutic. I usually do voiceovers with these because I don't really draw and talk very well at the same time, but I don't know that I could really do a voiceover this week. Talking is a little bit tricky when I'm talking about sad stuff. We had a lot of fun together. She was a fun dog, always ready for any adventure. I know I usually talk a lot in my voiceovers, which is kind of funny because in real life I'm not that talkative of a person. I wish I had more to say about cats, but I'm allergic to them, so I don't really have much experience around them except for getting really red, itchy, puffy eyes, which is unfortunate because I think cats are really cute. I've actually drawn cats more than I have dogs because their structure, since I haven't spent a lot of time around them, it's hard to I don't instinctually know what they look like, and I'm so used to dogs and dog proportions and stuff. I think I want this ear to be a little bit more thoughtful. I like how those ends are looking, just a little bit more clean at the edges. And then this dog has just a little bit of darkness right here. I know that as time moves by, it'll be easier to handle the loss, but man, it hurts. I actually did a spread in my first sketchbook. 2 spreads on my dog. It was right when we figured out that she had lymphoma, right when she was diagnosed, and yeah, I was processing it then. I don't like these lines. They look too messy. Let's simplify them. Just darken up these lines a little, make it match the body. What a little cutie pie. Let's give it a shadow. And then once I'm done here, I think that I will show you the spreads of Molly. This is Molly. This was after we took her swimming for the last time, and she was so happy. She loved swimming. This was her favorite glow-in-the-dark ball. And here she is sleeping. I was too nervous to add in color because I didn't want to mess up the accuracy of the drawing. And then this was the other spread. So this was Molly. I was trying to get her colors right here. She was the prettiest shade of red and white, and she had freckles all the way down her legs. She always crossed her paws. I pretty much could only get her sleeping because otherwise she was just always up to something, always moving, always, lots of energy. This dog breed is very energetic, and she's a bird dog, so she always was pointing at things. So I wanted to capture that in a very cartoony way. So yeah, here's Molly. So I know that I said that I couldn't do voiceovers, and here we are doing a voiceover. Apparently I stopped talking after showing you the other spreads that I did of Molly, and when I found the next picture that I wanted to draw, I couldn't talk. So here we go. Voiceover Hannah, hello. It's now been 2 days since I did this spread, and things are going a little bit better. It's a little easier to cope. I still miss her a lot, but it's getting easier to remember the good times. She had so much energy, man. She was go, go, go until she got sick, pretty much. And even then, she was always up for the adventure. It's like she tried to ignore that she was sick. And she's like, no, I'm going. Yeah, we had a lot of good times. So when she was a puppy, she would never stop. She maybe closed her eyes for about 5 minutes every day. And I remember just going crazy with how much energy this dog had. The only way that we figured out how to get that energy out was I used to take her on bike rides. So I had a leash set up on my bike where it's just like I don't know what it was called, a lead, but it was set up like behind my bike seat so she wouldn't get tangled up. She couldn't ride in front of me. She had to be next to me. And she stayed close and we rode bikes. Well, I rode the bike. She ran next to me. And every day after I would get home from work, we would go ride our bike. Ride. I don't know how to say that without laughing. I would take her on a bike ride. There we go. And she loved it so much. Every once in a while, if there was a big opening and there was nobody around, I would unhook her and she would just run right next to me still. It's like she didn't even need the leash. She just wanted to be close to me. And we were a team in her mind. It didn't feel like I was her owner. It felt like I was her partner. Man, this is going to be still hard to talk about. When I would take her bike riding, there was the big open field close by that we would always go to, and I think it was called a chucket, one of those fetch sticks, and that's where the glowing ball came in. So I would play fetch with her. So she would run, I would bike ride. I would take her on a bike ride to the park, and we would just play fetch for an hour, sometimes more. She just loved it. She never ran off. We were a team. And she's so smart. I couldn't believe how smart she was. She really just understood humans. She didn't really understand dogs. She was fine with other dogs, but she didn't really care about them. She didn't care to play with them. She didn't really care to sniff them at all. She just wanted to stay with us people. Other dogs never bothered her, but she's like, nope, I'm here for my people, and that's it. And honestly, I guess that kind of tracks for what breed she was. She was a Brittany Spaniel, but there's two different kinds. There's an American Brittany and a French Brittany, and they're both bred for different purposes within the bird dog world. American Brittany's were bred more to be far away from the human and do their job, and French Brittany's were bred to stay near the human and do their job. So she was very human-oriented, very hunter-dog relationship. Now, we never took her hunting. We never trained her as a hunting dog, but we did go camping a lot with her, and oh man, she was in her element. She loved it. You know how every once in a while in campsites there's just a lot of flies? She hunted flies like you would not believe. Every time that we went camping, I think she had eaten more flies than she did dog food. I hadn't needed a fly swatter in over 10 years because she was my fly swatter. All right, so I film with my phone, and I had to stop filming to take a phone call. And then when I finished the phone call, I set my phone back up to record and then never hit the record button. So I did that black lab off camera, and I'm so sad about it because I love how it turned out. I think it's one of my favorite dogs on this whole spread. So let's move to this one that I'm drawing now. Since I started charcoal, you know how I feel about charcoal. I remember drawing this, and this one, it's like every dog that I drew, it was getting harder and harder, but also more and more needed. And this isn't really something that I do. I don't really draw through my emotions. I draw to have fun, but I don't really draw to understand my emotions. So this is kind of new to me. And it's honestly one of the best things that I could have done. I was having a really, really hard time. And somehow drawing happy dogs, even though they're not my dog, really, really helped. This isn't something that I expected, was to turn to drawing when I'm having a hard time. But I guess this is a side effect of introducing a hobby into your life, is that you turn to that hobby when you need to process something emotionally. So I'm so glad that I have this to lean on and to help process emotions. Yeah, this dog is really cute. This was another one that I didn't talk at all through it because of the relationship between the dog and the human. All I could do is and feel sad, but also feel happy that I'm drawing dogs. And I hope that if you have gone through this, or if you are going through this, that this video might help, so that you know that you're not alone. Pets are family. That's how I view pets. They're family. You live a long time with them, hopefully a long time, and unfortunately, they don't live forever. They don't live as long as us. So, it's inevitable that you're going to come across the end. And that's it's really sad. How lucky to have loved. You know, that's a famous saying for a reason. I'd rather have loved than lost than never loved at all. You think about that saying when you talk about humans, but it applies to pets. Okay, back to this drawing. I remember drawing this a few days ago, and I finally feel like I'm drawing my feelings here. I stopped looking at the reference once I got the main lines down, and I was just going in and doing my thing, and I wasn't thinking. And this I was thinking here. And I was thinking, oh, this was a bad choice. I tried to make it a little lighter, and then it wasn't working. So I ended up erasing the background. I thought it looked better. It would look too much of the same tone to have any kind of a background, so I'm leaving it white. By the way, I cannot ever keep my finger clean. After finishing that last drawing, I was scrolling through Pinterest, and lo and behold, a Brittany Spaniel popped up. I felt ready to draw a dog that looked just like her, but wasn't her. This dog was black and white. It wasn't red and white. I slowly, just without even knowing it, changed little things that were different into what I knew about Molly. And I think this this is why I started drawing. I wasn't ready to draw Molly, but this ended up being Molly. Man, I miss her. It's so crazy because this dog is almost crossing their paws in the same way that Molly used to. It had to have been a breed thing. And I also draw the legs too short. I'm too afraid to get too close to the edge of the page, and I'm real close to the bottom. I'll fix it, don't worry. All this scruff here, and I realize that it's too short. You can't really erase charcoal all that much, but what you can do is draw over it. You knew I was going to say that, didn't you? You can just make it darker. So I color in all the darkest spots, and then I'm blending the darkest spots and using the stuff that's left over on my tool to draw in the spots that are not so dark. And then I'll go back in and add a little bit more depth again with some more charcoal with the pencil. I think that's how charcoal was intended, was to do different layers of charcoal or just keep building and building. I want to not look at the reference anymore and do the same look that Molly had with lots of freckles on the legs. All right, let's add another layer of black to deepen up some of this stuff, and I want to give her a smile. There's Molly. And I think I'm ready to do the eyes. And I always do that with my finger because when you sharpen charcoal a lot, it tends to break right when you put it on the page, and I would rather break it not on the page. I want to pre-break it. Gotta add more freckles, erase it up. Molly's ears were always really fluffy, so I am exaggerating these a little. I'm feeling a lot better about the loss. This drawing exercise has really, really helped. More so than I could have ever expected. And I feel like now that I have drawn a dog who is very similar, if not Molly in my heart, with that last one, I feel like I'm done. But this spot is pretty empty, so I'm adding in one more really quick sketch of a dog. There was a picture of a French bulldog that looked real cute, so this is just a quick little Frenchie. You know, I have to admit, I don't know if this is a French bulldog. I think it's a French bulldog. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. How is this looking more like a cat? This looks like a hairless cat. So as I do these eyes, I'm hoping that they are going to make the dog look more like a dog and not like a cat. Nothing wrong with cats, like I said. This is just not supposed to be a cat. Okay, adding these little jowl lines. Help it make it look not like a cat. Oh man, that was definitely a trust the process moment. It looks like a dog now. Who knew that dogs and cats could look so identical? This little eye, I think this is also what's making it still look like a cat a little bit. So if I bring this in, that should help it. Darken up the nose and the eyebrows. And I think this dog is just about done, which means that this spread is complete. I feel a lot better now than I did after having drawn this spread. And thank goodness for dogs and cats. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.